Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. I always think of the flow of the river as the passing of time. And once it is gone, it will never come back. So I try to enjoy each moment of the river when I'm down there as much as I can. And I feel the same way about cooking. Each time when I'm in the kitchen, I try to make the most out of it. Cooking has so much been part of my life, and I will treasure all the individual moments that I have in the kitchen. And one thing that I really enjoy is that how much I have improved as a cook. This video is an example of a dish that I cooked last night, which I try to make it better. I find that one way for me to achieve improvement in my stir frying is to attain the idea of WOK HEI. WOK HEI is a Cantonese concept of stir frying, and in fact the word in Cantonese pronounced WOK HEI. And WOK HEI is the Mandarin pronunciation. There are 3 steps in achieving WOK HEI, which can be summarized by the different stages of the cooking process, starting with the Maillard reaction. A Maillard reaction occurs at a temperature between 250 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, when the protein and carbohydrate on the surface of the food molecule interact with each other to form flavor molecules. Any cooking process take place at that temperature will produce more flavorful food. In the case of frying, because the oil can reach that temperature, and that is how the Maillard reaction takes place during the frying process. In addition to frying, other cooking techniques such as grilling, broiling, roasting, baking, all of this can reach the Maillard temperature zone. They produce more flavorful food. A food that has been boiled or steamed are not as tasty because they do not get to that temperature range. In addition to the Maillard reaction, there are 2 additional steps that are necessary to achieve WOK HEI. The second step is for the food to be cooked at a temperature that it can achieve caramelization of any sugar that might be present. The final step is for the food to cook at a temperature high enough that it can become charred. So consequently, the description of WOK HEI is for the food to have a flavorful taste that has a slight sweet taste due to caramelization and also a slight smoky flavor. It is the balance of these 3 distinct characteristics that make food taste good in stir frying. And this is frequently referred to as WOK HEI. Traditionally, WOK HEI is achieved in Cantonese stir frying by cooking under high heat rapidly. And then usually either alcohol or oil is introduced to the food, and the food is set on fire for a brief moment. Under this controlled condition, the food will be slightly charred and produce that very typical smoky flavor that one finds in WOK HEI. However, in the typical home kitchen, this could be difficult to achieve because you do not want to introduce an open flame in a kitchen. Over the years, I discovered there are actually many ways to achieve WOK HEI. When I cook on a traditional home kitchen stove with average heat output, and with some strategic manipulation during the stir-frying process, I can actually achieve quite nice WOK HEI. And I also discover under different cooking conditions with different cooking ingredients, the approach has to be slightly modified. In this video, I'm going to show you a shrimp vegetable stir-fry medley dish that I believe that I have achieved a very nice WOK HEI. And according to my wife and I, we both think this is probably one of my best creation of WOK HEI in a stir-frying dish. So let me show you the basic ideas of how I cook this dish. I cook the shrimp and the vegetables separately, and this is important to achieve wok hei, allowing me to create the flavor that I have defined earlier, what is referred to as wok hei. Okay, so let me break up each of the steps and show you why I take this approach. I have a reason to select the Cucina 14-inch stainless steel wok as my everyday wok. And one of the most important reasons is because of its lightweight, so it is easy to maneuver. This is particularly true when I use the same wok to cook the different aspects of this dish. This means that I need to move the wok to the sink, wash it, and back to the stove. And if the wok is too heavy, then it becomes very inconvenient. Another reason is that the peace of mind, that I feel that I can cook anything in this wok and wash it in any way that I want without worrying about that it might get rusty. One of the most important aspects in achieving wok hei is sequential cooking, that you cook different items at different time of the cooking process. In this case, the first ingredients that I'm going to cook is the yellow squash and the zucchini. And I'm also going to cook the green beans with them. I have blanched the green bean in advance in boiling water to soften its texture. After blanching, I dry the green bean as much as possible to remove any residual water. Because I want to keep the oil temperature in the wok as high as possible, and any moisture will reduce the temperature. During this part of the cooking, the oil temperature definitely is above 300 degrees, so it provides the environment for the Maillard reaction to take place. However, as you notice that the amount of oil left on the bottom of the wok become less and less because they're being absorbed by the food ingredients. One of the roles of the cooking oil is to provide a barrier between the food ingredients and the hot temperature of the wok surface. Once you remove the oil or reduce the amount of the oil present, the food ingredient will start to get burned. So I observe one general rule in achieving wok hei to create a smoky flavor is that if you want the food ingredients to char, then use as little oil as possible. And if you want the food from preventing to burn, then add some oil. And by now you notice that the vegetable show quite a bit of charring, and that will give them a nice smoky flavor. And next, I add some ginger to the wok. Again, this is another observation that I make in the past, is that ginger contains moisture. So it is much better to add the ginger toward the end of the cooking process. And when you already have achieved the level of charring that you want. Also, there's a reason that why I season the dish right at the end of the cooking process. Again, anytime when you add fluid to the wok, you will reduce the temperature and you will stop the charring process. This is particularly true when you use sauces to season your dish. At this point, I'm free to add water and do my spot cleaning to detach any sauces or material that have burned to the surface of the wok. However, I do not want to add too much water because that will dilute the flavor of the dish. So the final step, I add the tomato and a few stir. The dish is done, and I'm going to set it aside because I'm going to cook the shrimp now. I wash the wok and I add 2 tablespoons of canola oil to shallow fry the shrimp. I coat the shrimp with cornstarch, garlic pepper, and my basic seasoning mix. I'm going to lay out the shrimp in a single layer on the flat surface of the wok. I'm going to shallow fry them. Now the strategy actually is very simple. What I try to do is to create as much as wok hei with the shrimp. Because using this method by coating the shrimp with cornstarch, first of all, I will generate good flavor through the Maillard reaction. But more importantly, that I will cause charring. and this will give the shrimp a smoky flavor. If I cook the shrimp together with the vegetables, which I have done in the past, I will never be able to create the kind of flavor that will be characteristics of a wok hei. And it only just a few minutes before this is done, and then I top the vegetables with the shrimp on top of it. This gives the vegetable dish tremendous flavor. So with this dish, I was able to achieve wok hei and fulfill the three characteristics that I have defined in the beginning. First of all, I was able to create great flavor with the Maillard reaction. And of course, with appropriate temperature, I was able to also cause caramelization. And finally, I am able to cause charring, both in the vegetables as well as in the shrimp. So there's no coincidence. This dish has great flavor. So hopefully this gives you a reference point of some of the cooking approach that you can try out in your stir frying. I post a video each day to help people to make home cooking practical, efficient, creative, and fun, so that home cooking become part of their daily routines. If you'd like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.